So take away. Give a little bit about yourself.
All right. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about yourself. So.
Okay. Well, first of all, I dressed up a little bit because it's I think the last case study of 2022.
It is. Your
and
last
we want
one.
to go out
Yeah.
with a bang. So
Gotta be festive.
So I joined Lifestyles in 2017. I was married at the time, and we moved pretty quickly. Like, we came to a 2-day, and like the following Wednesday, we were sitting in front of our lender, and we were refining on our house. We were Dave Ramsey poster children, and so our house was paid off.
How many folks know who Dave Ramsey is? Okay, good. So make sure they know what you're following.
Yeah, so the paid off house is like a big part of the Dave Ramsey program. And being out of debt is awesome. But when you have debt equity sitting in your house, you're not doing yourselves any favors. Well, we had just never heard that before. So when we heard that, we're like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So we started out, we got into 3 deals, I think within a couple of months.
Were they houses or apartments? What?
No, I'm sorry. They were passive deals where we didn't have to do anything. Somebody was had purchased a multifamily apartment complex. 2 of them were in Houston. 1 of them was in Austin, I think.
Who likes the idea of putting money in an apartment deal, having no work whatsoever, and still making money? So that's what a passive is. She did that first, okay?
Yep.
And then we had heard Dell on the radio.
Yep.
And I actually had been really interested in real estate from way back when. And the reason is because we were renting way back, 40, 30 some years ago. We were renting. And at the time, I thought that anybody that owned real estate is like these super smart, super impressive people.
I think that checks out. So.
And well, now that I know a lot of real estate
Now she met me.
yes, I agree with that. But since I really didn't consider myself in that category at the time, I just kind of blew it off. And I'm like, well, that's not something I could ever do. And then I met the people that owned the home that we rented. And all I can say is they were completely unimpressive. They were really nice people, but like as normal next door neighbor as you could get. I mean, I was really kind of surprised. And then I was getting my real estate license, which I did not finish, but I was in the classes. And there was this guy there named Bob Smith, believe it or not. I'm like, is that real? People make up those names. So Bob Smith. And Bob Smith was another very unimpressive person who owned like 12 single-family rentals. And he sat there with me for 2 hours and told me exactly how he did that. But I didn't understand how to do that. I didn't have Lifestyles at the time, had no idea where to start. But it definitely piqued my interest. And so we'll fast forward a little bit. So we're in passive investing. And in the meantime, I filed for divorce. And I know that sounds really negative, but actually it was a really positive thing for me. And I moved from San Antonio. I had lived there. I was married for 30 years. And within 4 weeks, I had moved all the way up to Dallas and gotten a new job and just kind of started life over again. And that first year was super, super hard. I didn't have any friends. I knew 0 people in Dallas. I'd never even been to Dallas, ever. I lived in San Antonio, never been to Dallas. So here I am living in Dallas, don't know anybody. Finally, after a few months, I'm like, I'm ready to kind of get out into the world again a little bit. And Lifestyles case study was coming up. I'm like, well, that's pretty, I can just go and sit in the back and I don't have to talk to anybody, right? And I walked in, the first person I saw on the front row was a guy named John Pry. And if you're in Lifestyles or you're going to be in Lifestyles, you will know who John Pry is. Well, I had met John Pry down in San Antonio. And so the first thing I thought when I walked in, I'm like, wow, that guy really gets around. And so I saw him after the case study, and I'm like, hey, John, what are you doing here? He goes, oh, I live here. So I almost started bursting into tears because it was like, wow, my first friend in Dallas, and it's somebody in Lifestyles.
And he didn't even know you were your friend yet.
No. I mean, he knew me from San Antonio. But anyway, it was really neat. So Lifestyles definitely started out with a special place in my heart. So I was just coming to case studies, and I am a teacher. I'm actually a librarian.
Any other teachers? Hands to the teachers. There you go. Adrian, you were a teacher too. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, you can't get any more innocuous and non-real estate investor pretty much than a teacher. And I'm also a librarian, and not a high school librarian where you're like the keeper of the knowledge. I'm talking about an elementary librarian where 3 hours ago I was a snowman. Okay?
And I know what you say the most. Shh. Shh.
Yeah, actually, it's a pretty noisy place.
Oh,
we do
okay.
coding, we do engineering, we do all kinds of things.
Okay.
But anyway, so top hat, the scarf,
Cool.
the carrot nose, the whole 9 yards. So, and so I never really thought, wow, this is really something I can do. But coming to case studies, and I'm seeing all these kind of normal people. I mean, more impressive than those first two,
Kind of normal.
but still pretty normal. And I started kind of kindling that dream. And I was like, I'm not going to really be able to retire from teaching until I die. And so this sounds like a really good deal.
What did you say teacher retirement is?
Yeah, teacher retirement is an oxymoron. So, yeah. If anybody's a teacher in here, who are my teachers in here? Yeah, so you already know.
And my mother was a retired teacher, actually, so I get it too.
So I started out just really getting knowledge, and Lifestyles is so amazing. They have all these online classes. You can just take them over and over. You can go as slow as you want, which for me, I needed to go really slow.
That's good for the Aggies in the room.
You
Yes.
can also go 2 times the normal
Yeah,
speed too.
and you can go, yes, and you can replay them as many times as you want. And some of those, the math ones, I had to listen to multiple times. And my mentor at the time was Rick Johnson.
Good guy.
And he's retired now, I believe.
he's still a mentor.
He's
yeah.
a mentor,
is
but he
still a
moved to
mentor.
Florida.
Yeah.
He owns
Yeah.
those properties up here, so you can do it
So
across state
he
lines.
moved really far away, and I'm pretty sure I had something to do with that.
No.
Because I'm not sure if he had anybody that asked as many questions as I did. But that is one thing I want to tell you about Lifestyles is if you're worried, I'm going to sign on that line and I'm going to be chasing a mentor down, you will never be chasing a mentor down. There are like more mentors than you could ever use. And they're always so willing to answer questions and be there for you, and they'll tell you exactly these are the classes. That's what Rick said. These are the classes you need to listen to, Debbie. I'd listen to the class. Rick, I don't know how to do it. Here's the classes. This is how you do it. I mean, he was really very patient and very amazing. So I started buying houses, and I actually I personally put quite a bit of time in there. I would go to houses because I was interested in it. This was my future. And so I would go to, obviously, case studies, but I would go to road trips. Lifestyles has these road trips where you can go, and there's a bunch of us there at a house. And they will bring in they'll bring in vendors, they'll bring in contractors, and these people are just there to answer all your questions. Like, you're like, I have no idea how much it costs to put a roof on or to fix a foundation. Everybody's all afraid of foundation work. You don't have to be afraid of foundation work. So the foundation guy's there. I'm like, well, hey, what do you see here, and how would I be able to assess this? And so he's like just giving me all his knowledge. That's what Lifestyles is about. They're giving you all their knowledge. And so after a while, you start to kind of get a feel for it. And you start to look at deals that are coming through, and you're like, yeah, I can see how those numbers are going to work. Then you tweak it, talk to your mentors, and it's sort of like a funnel. You're starting to see, hey, this is a possibility, and then that funnel sort of narrows some of those deals out, and then eventually you get down to, okay, this is a viable deal right here. And then you have to be brave enough to go for it.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
I always say the road trip is one of the most valuable things. So I feel like that's
Cool.
It's scary for a lot of people at first to go into a house that's in some phase of construction, but once you walk through it and talk to the experts, the vision comes in, right?
yes, very much so. So I've seen some houses that I'm walking in going, someone actually lived here at one time.
I know.
and I'm
I know.
really shocked about that. But
Yeah.
let me can I give an analogy
Sure.
of this?
Yeah.
Okay, so my dress. Ladies, this is a Chico dress. So what would you think this would retail for? 80, 120? Anybody? Chico dress, 120?
120.
Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
Okay, so $120. Well, I got it at Goodwill for $6, and I took it to my contractor Sue Lee. And I said, Sue Lee, can you give me 3/4 sleeves, raise the hem a little bit, and what was the other thing she did? Oh, bring in the sides a little bit. So Sue Lee, $20 later, an hour and $20 later, I have a $26 dress that's worth $120. So ARV, how much you put into it and what it's worth.
Yeah.
And
That
yeah,
was a great
that's
analogy.
exactly.
I didn't know where you were going.
Give her a
with
hand. That was
but
awesome.
Great.
It's
yes.
pretty.
I wasn't even going to touch that one. I'll give me a show. Here, I'll keep it simpler. Watch this. Ladies, when you were looking for the perfect guy, when you're 18 or 20, you wanted Brad Pitt. Who remembers that? How many of you ladies lowered your standards or settled? Look at that lady right there.
I didn't.
She ended up with a rehab project. You see that?
Rehab.
You divorced that and you traded in. Okay.
I'm married to Captain Kirk, so
You married Captain Kirk? You got Picard. You didn't get
that's what I meant to say. Sorry. Anyway, so we got with this property right here, though, was not in bad shape when you got it, right?
No,
that
isn't
right?
it cute?
Yeah.
Who agrees? Does that look nice to y'all? Give her a hand. She found an easy one. It looks
Yeah.
beautiful.
This one was easy. I mean, the other properties that I have were not this easy, but this
Okay.
one was really a no-brainer. I mean, I loved it when I drove up, and David's like, stop falling in love with your properties. But that's my weakness. I do fall in love with the properties.
How'd you
And,
find this one?
This one, I actually found this one on MLS.
Okay.
I had an outside real estate. So we have lifestyle real estate. Thank you, real estate agents within Lifestyles. But you know, if once you start knowing what a deal looks like, you're free to find them.
Yep.
And I had found this one, and they're literally. I had a shower head put in. My brother helped me put in a fan, and that was pretty much it. I mean, I really.
Does
didn't
that
have
sound
to do
hard?
anything.
Not hard to be a real estate investor.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a very cute house. Okay, so let's talk about the numbers. You know what? I think it's actually $1,499 on the rent. So I apologize. That's $1 off for the monthly rent. But cash out of pocket right there, $38,000. Spent about $800 fixing it up, and now you're cash flowing $405 a month, and that's with property management. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes. So almost $5,000 a year. So 13% cash on cash return. When you compare that to the cash out of pocket and an equity capture of $8,200. Excellent job.
So remember, guys, when I was doing my speech earlier, I say you put about 30 grand out to buy a house. Now, this was not a fixer-upper, so there's not a lot of equity in this one. But I said you'd cash flow $200 to $600. Is that right in there in that range? So she's making $400 a month, which is a 13% return. How much taxes does she pay on that 13%? Who'd like to make a 13% return and not pay taxes? Well, then why don't you? See, she's doing that. Give her a hand. It's good.
By the way, John Price said awesome analogy. So
Awesome. Hi,
Yes.
John. John's online because he's sick tonight, or he would be right there by Jack.
There you go.
awesome. So
So you didn't buy one.
yeah, you got a portfolio going
No,
here.
I
so-
kind of went crazy, to be honest. I was like, I know what I'm looking for. I'm going to get out there and start finding deals. And I was like driven. I was pretty driven.
Because you wanted to retire yourself.
I want to retire, exactly, before I die. And yeah, I'm going to make that goal way before I die.
So look at this, guys. So here she is. She didn't buy just one. It's sort of like sour cream and cheddar Pringles chips. Who knows what I'm talking about? And that little metal thing, that sleeve. Anybody go in there and eat one and stop? They are addictive,
yeah.
right? Who eats the whole thing? Well, that's what she did. Look. So here's a duplex. She's making 15 grand a year, 6 grand a year, 2,700, 4,800. That's $30,000 a year she's already making. That's tax-free income. So that might be like a $45,000 a year job. Give her a hand. That's pretty good, right? She gave herself a raise. She didn't have to ask her boss for a raise.
That's right. And I want to point this out too. So this is the equity capture that you had when you went into each of these deals. The total altogether, $76,000 of unrealized gains on these 4 properties. But fast forward to today, current market value, $273,000 added to her net worth.
Remember, guys, how I said your property's going up 10% a year? It's not 10% on what you have invested. If they're $200,000 houses, each one's going up $20K a year, it adds up. You see that? And that's what that's showing there. Remember, we make money 5 ways, not 1 way.
That's awesome.
So I'll see if I can show you another analogy here. Where am I Okay, so this was me before Lifestyles. This was after the 2-day.
2 days my seminar.
This is when I bought my first house. And that's me now.
All bright.
Just completely excited all the time about lifestyle. So
how has Lifestyles Unlimited changed your life?
yeah, so it's given me a lot of hope. I'm 60, and my life looks very, very different than it did for the 30 years that I invested and planned for my life. And I know that there's lots of stories out here. They might be a little different, but life has a way of throwing curves at you. And I found that you can curl up in the fetal position.
Or you can do something about it.
Or you can do something about it.
Put your brave face on, and you've done amazing.
That's exactly right. And Lifestyles was right here when I was ready to stand up and do something about it.
So, Debbie, what advice, there's some new folks in the room, haven't been here before. They're still not sure if this is a swingers club. She's still upset over there, I can tell. What advice would you give the new folks come to my seminar this weekend? First time, they're scared, they're nervous, is this real? Remember back when you first came to the seminar? What advice would you give the new folks?
Yeah, so there's a couple of pieces of information I give to anybody that I'm talking to about lifestyles. The first one is to get educated. Lifestyles, I cannot tell you the value of the information. I think what I really like, because I listen to all kinds of real estate podcasts and things like that, but when I first started listening to those, they were like way up here, and I didn't even understand what they were talking about. I was just excited. But what Lifestyles does is they're like, okay, you're an elementary librarian who has 0 real estate experience, so we're going to start you down here. And I'm like, yes, that's me. I'm in the remedial class right there.
You're with the Aggies.
Yes. And so I was able to go at my own pace. You know, everybody learns differently. You math people, you're probably up here, you know, and I'm down here trying to learn the math for quite a while. I'm talking to Rick, going, Rick, I can't figure out how to do the math. He's like, you need to practice, Deb. Can you run the numbers for me? Well, no, but I will check your numbers. So he kind of made me.
Who likes that? We show you how to do it, but we make you do it because if you want stuff handed to you, you probably voted for Bernie Sanders. Who's with me, right? We're going to show you how to do it, but you have to do it. Yep.
Yeah, and we want you to understand what you're looking at and how you got to those numbers, and we're here to hold your hand and help you, you know, as many times as it takes. To get you to that point.
And I actually have emailed probably every mentor, Chris Wyatt, several times.
Great guy.
And they all have their like different styles of answering questions. And like David, he's like right to the point. Chris Wyatt, he's like bullet points. This is what the answer is. And Nicole, she's kind of my emotional venter. Thank you. She kind of talks me off the ledge. Lori Fontenot, she's been a big help. She's written me like multi-page emails to explain concepts that I'm just not getting. So you will get all the help, I promise you. You will get all the help you could possibly need.
Who likes the idea of having a mentor holding your hand through a property? Who thinks that would mitigate your risk and your fear? So give her a hand because she used that team. That's what it's about.
Yes.
We want you to do this for yourself, people. Just don't do it by yourself. Form that team. Okay, what's your goals?
All right, what's next? Oh, what's this picture? I thought we weren't going to do anything.
She's dressed up like one of them communists. That's Star Wars.
So Star Wars, Trekkie.
Yeah.
You
Who's
decide.
with me? Wait, how many folks like Star Trek? Where's the real people? Raise your hands. Proud. Who likes the fake stuff? Star Wars. Raise your hands.
Star Wars.
Gosh.
Woohoo! Although you're actually not real fans if you didn't bring your own lightsaber. So I'm just saying, I have two of my own lightsabers. So, okay. So my short-term goals, I have some passive investments. One of them is actually coming up. They're going to be selling either in December or January. I will roll that right into another passive investment. I just want that. I just love watching that grow, and it's always going to be there. I can pull out whatever I want to, but as John Price says, John, never use your seed coin.
Your seed corn.
So I'm going to make sure that money keeps getting redeployed.
Good.
And then my long-term goals. Oh, and I'm also actively searching for another single-family property. So long-term goals are. So one of the reasons why I decided to get single-family, like Deb, why don't you just go all passive investment? So there's a couple of reasons, and tell me if I'm taking too much time. A couple of reasons. Besides wanting a new retirement plan, which I need if I want to retire before I die, is I needed the confidence of knowing that I could do this. I could take something that I had no knowledge of. I could follow my mentor's advice. I could go to houses and walk through them and take notes and ask lots of questions and learn and learn and learn. Anybody can learn. Anybody can.
You took charge of your own destiny.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So that's the first thing, and I don't think I really finished what I was saying about my advice to new people, is definitely get educated. But the second thing you need to do is you need to take some action.
Yeah.
You must take action. Coming to case studies for 3 years is not going to help you reach your goals. I know you're afraid. Oh my God, I get it. It's something new. You're trusting people you've never met. But one of the beauties of lifestyles is it's not just one guy sitting down, scamming you. It's a bunch of people, and you can ask any of them.
We're not all scamming you.
No. I'm just saying in general. But, let's say I don't trust David, and I talk to 20 other people, and they're like, well, these are our deals, and this is what my mentor did, and this is how you can get financing.
But listen, and this is why I bring this up a lot of times, because they hear me on stage talk about this, how I turned 70 grand and 11 million. They go, yeah, but he's on stage. But you see these hundreds of people in this room. Watch this. This is really powerful, Debbie. Of all the folks in the room right now, how many people in this room actually invested in real estate since joining Lifestyles and made money? Raise your hands. Now, all the new people, look at all those hands up there. All those people can't be lying, hundreds of people.
Yes,
See that?
exactly.
So that's the power of Lifestyle.
Yes, and that's the whole point, is you have a lot of checks and balances in the business. So my long-term goals, anyway, so the reason I have passive investment, so it's always there, always growing. My single-family investments, though, are for lots of personal reasons of my own, but specifically because I have more control over when I can sell or refi those properties, and I do want to eventually be an IRO, independent rental owner, my own apartment complex.
There you go. Yep.
And so I want to have control over that amount of money. It's increasing in value as I'm waiting for that opportunity to get an IRO, and then I can sell or refi whenever I want to. So it just gives me more control
And instead
over
of going
those
to 10
assets.
properties, just go to one location.
Correct.
It's about buying back your what?
My time.
There you go. She gets
Yes.
it.
Amen. And so those are my long-term goals right now.
Do you want to give any shout-outs real quick?
Oh, yes. So lots and lots of mentors. Rick, Chris, obviously David, he's always available. If you want to hear, he's going to tell you how it is, okay? So he's not
I
going to
tell
hold your
people what
hand.
they need to hear, not what they
Yes.
want to hear. You ever want to hear somebody will just slap you around a little bit? That's me.
Yeah, so you get advice from David, and then you go to one of the other mentors and say, that was really rough. And then, they'll be a little softer with you. But that's okay, because obviously David is very, very, very successful. So he knows what he's talking about. Danny Gentry I've been to many deals with Danny, many houses, and Sam Tenpenny. I don't know if Sam's here tonight.
Yeah, he's here.
So Sam's always got great deals coming out, and those are come out on email. And David, maybe you can tell him what.
I'll teach you about that this
okay,
weekend.
very good.
Yep.
But you get emails with these deals, and these
Who likes
guys,
the idea of getting an email saying this house is $30,000 out of pocket, it's $20,000 equity, you make $500 a month? Who likes that? It's literally that easy to invest in real estate.
Yeah, so they're already putting the numbers together. Now you need to do your due diligence,
Exactly. Yep.
And you need to run your own numbers as well. But it funnels. Again, it's a funnel, and they get those deals down here to where you can really take a serious look at them. So they're amazing. And then my vendors, Greenworks, I'm just so impressed with them. They actually do a lot of different things, but I like them to come in and do my
Inspection.
my inspections.
They use Lee from Integrity?
And Lee from Integrity for my insurance.
Lee, are you in the room?
For my properties.
I hope he's out there with the pot
I think I
smokers.
saw him.
Okay,
I
Lee
saw him
Siegel.
earlier.
He's awesome. And then one I didn't put up here is my AC guy, Michael, who you gave me that tip. So that's another thing is on FB or Facebook. We have a couple of groups, and you can literally get on there, hey, I need these drawers fixed. Do you have anybody? and you're just
Who,
exchanging
who likes the fact
Yep.
that the members all help each other? Isn't that what it's all about?
Yes.
Yep.
It's amazing. And so Michael Schwab, he
Yep, he's one
actually
of our
didn't
vendors as
have to
well.
do anything on this property with the AC,
Okay.
but he came out and looked at it.
Okay, good.
Just looked at it. He's done all the work on all the other properties
Yeah.
though, which did need AC work.
Cool.
Yep.
So he is really, really amazing.
So, Debbie, you going to take a couple questions?
Let me also
wait.
shout out for my property management is Texas Elation Realty. I've been working with them for a couple years now and absolutely love them. So
Okay, awesome. Cool. So anybody in the room want to ask questions? If not, we'll take one or two online maybe. Anybody in the room?
I
if
saw
not,
somebody on the chat say, "May the force be with you." And
that's not important. Anybody in the room have any questions, single family wise? There's one right here.
I see Debbie.
You get the run, Ember, run! Everybody give Ember a hand. She's running.
is that Ember?
Remember, there's folks online listening, so I got to make sure we give them a microphone.
How much time do you have to spend managing your properties?
Yeah, for all 4 properties, how much time do you spend?
So pretty much zero time. I'm more hands-on, even though I have a property management company, because I love to learn. And one day I'm going to take over my own properties.
Okay.
And so anything that I can learn from my property management is going to benefit me. That'll be a huge pay raise for me.
So here, let me ask you a question, Debbie. If you totally let them handle it all and you didn't get involved, how much time would you involved?
Totally zero.
Who likes 0?
Yeah.
Give her a hand. That's being passive. That's the goal.
Yeah. And I work
But she
full-time,
wants
so
to be involved
that's-
because she wants to learn. That's
yes.
why.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you have all kinds of choices, which is really nice.
Awesome. Did you have any questions online, Ember, or are we good?
I see
I know-
2. So-
Yeah,
okay.
I saw one that we had online, and the question was, are you looking for any single family outside of the state of Texas?
I'm a Texas gal. Even though I'm from Illinois, I've been in Texas for 40-some years.
You said that wrong. It's Illinois.
Illinois, that's how you can tell when someone's from Illinois, because they actually say it correctly.
I figured that.
So I am not actively seeking. I've looked at a few things in Missouri. And absolutely, if I found some viable deals there, you get a property management, you find a realtor there.
And just so you know, we actually had a member, because I was talking to Lee, who's in charge of all our realtors today. Somebody just closed a property today in Missouri, because we have agents there. So,
Yeah.
remember, guys, live where you want to live. Invest where it makes sense. So for her, it makes sense in Texas, but we have members buying in Oklahoma, Georgia, Florida. It doesn't matter where you invest as long as you make the returns I'm talking about. Okay?
And I'm going to add something for
Sure.
Elizabeth there. She's one of our members in Richmond. And Elizabeth, stay tuned. There's some other markets opening up in the near future that you might be interested in.
Yeah, some of the other
that
markets.
that
We
are
just can't
close
announce
by.
them yet.
So.
Yep. Okay, cool.
So-
All right.
All
One
right.
Well,
And I was just going to say, and as Lifestyles grows, there's more and more people that you can be in contact with to find different vendors and different contractors in different areas. I mean, it's just really, the web is really, really growing a lot. So
Cool.
there's very few places where you could be interested in, maybe Alaska, very few places that you could be looking for.
I don't think
that-
we have anything in Alaska
Yeah,
yet,
not yet.
so you know.
That you're going to find somebody.
All right.
Okay,
Well,
very
hey, thank you both so much for sharing your story. Really appreciate it. Give them a hand. Hope it's